You know what's so funny, Megan, when you tell me that my brand is imperfection, can I tell you how much that cracks me up? Girl, right?
I love your shows.
I love your bleeps and blunders.
Yes.
You call them bleeps and blunders. And I'm like, well, you know what's really funny about that is son of a sea cook. How could you, how do you achieve perfection, right? But the reality of it all is the mic is listening. Are you ready to kick this off?
I'm ready to kick this off with you.
All right, girl, let's do this. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
The mic is listening.
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 The mic is listening. The mic is listening. The mic is listening.
The mic is listening.
The mic is listening.
The mic is listening.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and all that good stuff. It's a happy Wednesday. This is the Mike is Listening show. My name is Syya. I'm the co-founder of Innovation Media Enterprises, and we are a podcast strategy production firm. Why am I doing this live stream? To be brutally honest, we produce so many awesome podcasts and shows. It gets a little bit tedious to keep promoting, and quite frankly, I thought it'd be a great way to highlight some awesome shows. Why not do on a live stream and just change it up instead of, some standard social media posts? So on that note, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for everyone to experience what it's like being a fly on the wall, to hear the stories behind the stories, because, there's always going to be bloops and blunders as our today's guest, Megan Van Petton. She is a managing director of Esports Trade Association, but most importantly, she is a host of Esports Connected. Megan, welcome to the Mike is Listening show.
Thank you, Syya, and congratulations. What a great show. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so excited for you and our network.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I'm not only just highlighting the shows that we produce, but I'm not going to lie to you. We've got a lot of shows that obviously we can highlight. And who knows, maybe the audience here is going to find, a show that they like. I mean, you do business with people you like, and you listen to podcasts with hosts and content that you like. So, Megan, no pressure at all, girl, but I'm going to call today the Esports Day because, well, we're part of a larger organization, right? So we are part of the Esports Future Eye Podcast Network. And these guys here, I just want to let you know, the Esports Future Eye folks, Map Esports, they have had a great mission to bring esports to the forefront of industry and grow it. It is a fraction of the video game industry, but it's a growing industry. And the pandemic actually helped give it a boost and boon because, well, if you guys all remember, we were always stuck at home. So we have a lot of great shows. We have quite a bit more coming on board. So stay tuned for that. But task at hand, let us focus on the most important person of the day, Megan. Esports Connected. We know the Esports Trade Association is a great organization. It's a trade industry organization that is actually helping to build the esports from a almost billion to, or I think it's already 1.1 to over $2 billion by next year. So Esports Connected. What are we connecting here? Because I know that's a big buzzword for you. So talk to me, Goose. Why did you do this? Why did you launch Esports Connected?
That is such a great question. So many people pivoted during the pandemic, and so did we as association executives. We realized that our members need a platform to share their stories and what they're up to. And I'm so happy to be part of your network and what you do. You make us feel like we're in your home on your show. So I emulated, your welcomeness, and basically we're here to share our member stories.
And I love it because I say this all the time as, Innovation Media Enterprises, everyone's got a story to tell, right? Everyone has something to share. We all come from somewhere. So when you're talking about the Esports Connected and the guests that you're speaking with, I mean, what is the most interesting thing about them that you are searching out for as a host and interviewer?
Well, it starts a lot of time with a phone call. People call me and they want to know what the Esports Trade Association is, and they have a dream. And a lot of them are out of a job, or they're pivoting in their career, and they say, "What do you think of this idea?" And so, during the pandemic and during the last year, I thought, I'm hearing a lot of the same questions. And for the people that went for their dream, I would have the conversation with them. They would prepare their business plan. They would ask me to listen to their pitch, and then I would say, "Would you recreate that on the podcast and share your story?" And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to give our membership a greater opportunity to share what they're up to be able to network at a higher level and truly connect.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what? I think that inclusivity, right, is such a critical component of building community in general, right?
Right.
And I don't want to, this is not the ESTA show, but that is one of the things about the Esports Trade Association. I am not an esports person myself. I'm learning it. I'm an outsider trying to look in and try to be like, "Hey guys, what's up?" That old creepy soccer mom, even though I'm not a soccer mom, but I have never felt unwelcome. And I think that is a huge testament of the leadership and the tone you guys have all set over at the ESTA leadership group. So to that, everyone, I'm not kissing butt, but okay, I'm just applauding you. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Megan?
That's music to my ears, because we've been doing association management forever. And the podcast has given us an opportunity to pivot. We've done events for 20 years. We've done coffees. We've done member meetups, webinars, newsletters, journals. The podcast is just another way. I don't want to just put out another meet the member post or infographic. I want to learn. I want to share. I want to take it to the next level. And that's what this show has been able to achieve for our members and our community. And it really has brought us together, and to truly connect.
What's great about that is, so I mentioned about, the fact that there's members that are so welcoming and so just willing to step outside of, other people's comfort levels, their own comfort levels, and they found value in helping others. And that was another critical piece and component. So what I want to kind of move and slide over to is highlight Dr. Mark's masterclass. So if I may throw in here. So Dr. Mark, for those that are familiar or not familiar, I actually met through the ESTA conference last year that you guys threw. I think it was 2021. And it was all virtual. And so Dr. Mark is with the Florida Memorial. Oh gosh, I should have written his title down. Sorry, Dr. Mark, but he's with the HSBC, and he does huge work to create inclusivity with esports at HSBC universities. And he has been nothing but gracious. He's been very giving, and I just love what he does. So on his recent podcast episode out this week with Josh Otero, he is the founder of NutriGamer. Josh is another individual who I reached out to because I just love the vibe and energy of what NutriGamer is all about, and no condescension towards me. Help me understand, the importance of wellness, of taking care of yourself, because gaming in general is you're sitting down, right? And how are you going to get that exercise and body flow and energy and, blood physically moving around? And it has to do with nutrition, right? What you put in your body is also what's going to be flowing through, and of course, exercising and all that good stuff. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and share this little snippet.
Sugar into something healthy, that's going to change their life. And it starts at that base level of what you're putting in your body. So if we're changing and we're helping them put in their body, that's going to help their mind. That's going to help their sleep. That's going to help what else they're eating. It's going to help their performance in game. It's going to help their performance in real life. So, the more I learned about this, the more I was like, this is amazing. This is such an amazing opportunity. How could I not do it? How could I not? I have the knowledge. Our team has the knowledge. How can we not take this knowledge and bring it to the others and create products, services that are going to elevate people's performance and in their lives.
I mean, right? What, do you know Josh?
Josh has been such a great supporter of the Esports Trade Association. He has been a sponsor. We worked exclusively with YouGov to put together some research together that we presented in a webinar. Josh also does so much work in the not-for-profit space for health and wellness, and I serve on his advisory board for the Warrior Gamer Foundation. Josh is, an amazing asset to our community.
Oh, I love him. He's, like I said, I've never met a cooler dude. And so Josh, shout out to you. I know he doesn't probably know that we're talking about him. I didn't warn him in advance that we'd be highlighting the episode.
I know. I didn't know either, but it's always great to highlight a member. And he's such a generous sponsor and supporter.
He absolutely is. And did we mention patient? I know. Oh gosh. Oh, poor Josh is gonna be like, you guys need to stop this stuff. But okay, but let's talk about the whole idea of that building up a community. But here's the thing. As this community grows and builds, right, esports, a lot of it has to do with personal branding, which on the gamer side of it, they're still finding their footing. But there's also the branding side for the brands that are endemic and non-endemic to the world of esports. And one of the things I loved about Dr. Mark was he is so, in essence, true to himself, but he also is an extraordinarily huge advocate for the esports industry and community. But yet he's also very much heavily into the music world. He, in his intro here, in his intro that I would like to share, does a great job of pulling together all his interests and who he is into it. So you actually know how his podcast starts out. So let's go ahead and let's check out our good friend here, Mr. Dr. Mark, and share his intro.
My name is Dr. Mark Williams. Welcome to my masterclass. I have a PhD in education from West Virginia University. I have a master's in sport management and an MBA from the University of Massachusetts. I even have an undergraduate degree in sociology from William Patterson University. And currently, I'm the Global Scholar Practitioner at HBCU, Florida Memorial University. But I also work for 3 of the largest sports brands in the world, Reebok, Champ Sports, and Foot Action, but I can't go anywhere without my Jordan 1s. Join me and my guests as we explore their rise to the top through adversity and challenges. It's time to help you find a hero in you. Welcome to my masterclass.
Cool, right?
I share your excitement. I mean, people reach out to me, and the first thing I want to do is look up their website. I want to look at their logo. I want to look at their brand, their messaging, their purpose, their mission, their goal. It's just electrifying. And that's when I met you, I was like, oh my God, we could get a platform to share my excitement of all these stories I get to hear and put it out here. It's just, yes, what a vibe.
Yeah, I absolutely. You know what's funny about Dr. Mark and all his podcasts and his shows? It cracks me up. His guests are so diverse, and he's always able to tie back, and he always finds some interesting stories. I always laugh. It is such great conversations with Dr. Mark, and he's a huge advocate again for. It sounds like an ad for ESTA, but look, people, it's an esports day. Woo!
Right on.
You know what's so cool about him? So he had a previous guest, Birdie Box. So shout out to the Birdie Box guys. But so what they do is they do gifting, right? And they do high-end gifting for, events, etc. And he was showing me one of their boxes that they sent him to, help him understand, what their business was about. And the guy brings it, mind you, he flies in from Florida to our Dallas studios here at CityCentral. That's our partnership with Innovation Media Enterprises. And I said, dude, you carried that box from Florida here? And he's like, absolutely. He's like, look what they're bringing me. And it was like the most amazing swag. Like, I was so jealous. I'm like, can you, share some love with the rest of us, He did not share. So Dr. Mark, I guess, if you got the in with Birdie Box, tell them I needed some love too, please.
Well, that's good to know that you can be bribed, bought.
Oh, absolutely. Food, tasty, great beverages. And yeah, those are the two actually. I am food motivated. What
That's
about
great.
so Megan, what motivates you? Oh my God, I can't speak English anymore. What motivates you?
You know, I think I truly have the gift of hospitality. I love hosting events. I've been doing it for 20 years. And this opportunity to get virtual has been so out of the box for me. You know, I've always done what I've always done, and now it's a complete pivot. And association management is a behind the scenes job. I'm a behind the scenes person. We're servant leaders. And for now to be up front and to be stretched and, you know, to do what we're doing is truly an honor. There's about halfway in an event when you know it's going right, like just right now, like where we are at this halfway point where it's like such, there's something that's magical in giving and sharing, educating and motivating. And that's what gets me up and running. So, you know, that's one thing for sure in community leadership and building.
And you know what? Again, when you're looking at esports in general, there is a vacuum. I'm not saying a massive vacuum. I'm just saying, but there is, I think, a consolidation of leadership in a way that can be much more powerful than individual tribes, if you will. And you kind of see this, like, what's that word I'm thinking of? Coalesce. Like it's kind of forming into some amazing entity. And I feel like, Megan, do you ever just like feel like, what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Boy, that's a great question. I used to listen to a lot of music when I drove, and I don't drive anymore. I'm downtown Chicago. So when I have time, honestly, I listen to mostly podcasts and books, but I enjoy I know. And there's not enough time in the day. I'm always reading and listening, but I love the opera. I love symphony. Okay. I love jazz. I love live music. My brother played every instrument by ear. So I grew up in a huge music family, and I have a strong appreciation for music. But I guess when I turn stuff on, it's usually some sort of jazz.
You know, it's funny. The older I've gotten, the more I'm embracing the jazz. I know. You know, I totally like lost my track as to why I was asking about the music. I guess it's going back to the whole vibe thing, but when the fact that we've all had to pivot within the last year, right? 2020 was just, I don't know, the most bizarre. It was a bizarre world. I kept joking with friends that I wonder if our multiverses just crossed over and we're in that other, universe, right? One of the talents that we have on the Esports Trade Podcast network is a gentleman named Lewis Johnson. And he is a 20-year veteran of Olympic commentating. He's currently on NBC. He will be commentating for the Tokyo Olympics. Knock on wood, it happens, guys. And what was interesting for him, you've got a 20-year veteran of broadcasting, and he pivoted himself to the podcast world. It was an unfamiliar territory, very similar, but not quite the same. And I don't care what people say, broadcasting and podcasting aren't exactly the same thing. Similar, but not same, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say something, but I don't want to insult either industry. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So one thing I want to show is the fact that we've all had to pivot. We have all experienced how to evolve ourselves in a way, but there's also how hard everyone has worked together. Yeah. And so this episode of All In with Esports is with Grant Johnson. He is the CEO of Esports Entertainment Group. It is a publicly traded esports branded company. First off, woo! It is around gambling, and which I think is another really hot topic that I think really needs to get dug deep into is esports and gambling, but not for this conversation. But I want to share this one snippet of how cool and why, Megan, you're such the, that's why I asked my music. we're like the indies. We're like part of the cool crowd before it got blown up into the mainstream. So let me share this little snippet here of Grant Johnson's time with Lewis Johnson. And they were talking about him going public.
Oh, yeah.
Access. In fact, we were the first gambling company to be listed on a major exchange in the United States.
The very first.
Very first. We were ahead of DraftKings.
Wow.
They did theirs in a spec. Yeah. We beat them, and it was during COVID. So I was just finished my roadshow. I'm sitting there in San Francisco, and we're reading that the borders are closed. The Canadian-U.S. border was closing due to COVID.
Yeah.
And I was going to go back to New York with the bankers. I said, fellas, I think I better head home. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. And
right.
Got home, and sure enough, the next Monday, the borders closed. And we had to finish the rest of the road show. It was all virtual. I don't know if you saw our bell ringing. It was a virtual bell ring. We were up on the billboard in Times Square, but there was nobody there to see it. It was a proverbial if you drop a tree in the forest, does anybody see or hear?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it gave us the finances we required. And from that time to this time, it's been head down, get the job done. We were 11 people at that time. Today, we are 145 souls in the company.
Isn't that cool? 11 people to 145. This is during the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, that is amazing to me how growth still happens and how hot, the esports industry is. So with Esports Connected, are you finding it hard to find people to join your podcast?
No. And you know what's really interesting is that people our members join and they apply, they fill out a form to be on the podcast. So I actually don't even know who's going to be on.
Oh, that is funny.
It is, because it's a member benefit. And so I just love that because it's diverse. Everyone has a story to tell. It's just my job to help them tell it. And it's actually an honor.
Aw. Why? Why is it an honor for you, Megan?
Well, because what I've been trained to do is just listen for the gold and pulling that out in people, because we all have it. And each and every one of us has a special purpose for being here. And during the pandemic is when I had the most conversations ever about people getting in a new path in their life. And I mean, that was 90% of my conversations. And these members of our community and non-members that got on their new path have their story to now tell. And, so just like anything, we reset as a world, and here we are, we're back and we're sharing. Sometimes I wish I would have known that I would have had the show during the pandemic, because I would have really studied. Now it's like I don't have a lot of time to listen to the podcasts and to watch them, because I have so many people. I don't even have hours in the day for the amount of people that want to be on the show.
Right. Well, you know what? It just sounds like to me you need a part 2 show. What? Maybe you need to start another podcast. What?
I can tell you that I will never, ever not have a podcast for an association management community, a trade association, a member community. It is one of the best things we've ever done as an association, second to getting John Davidson to be our chairman.
Oh, are we going to talk about that guy? And hey, Don, thank you. Yes, and by the way, Don McKenzie is listening, marketing genius. So if everyone's interested in learning about, she's formerly of Accenture and with an amazing organization called BPS Jet. Check her out. They are doing amazing things in the agricultural and shockingly oil and gas industry. But yes, BPS Jet, Don McKenzie, love you, girl. Thanks for joining. So let's talk about John Davidson.
Okay.
Let's gossip, because let's see if he responds to us.
Oh, that's so funny. Speaking of servant leadership, his mission in life is really to make the world a better place, one person at a time. And, he has been, an honor to work with. He's going into his 3rd term here. And, anybody that donates their time for almost 3 years, is really committed, and he's really made a difference, and he's really driving the board in an incredible direction.
So I know I like to make fun of him because, well, we are friends as well. And because of John, he was actually a guest on my first podcast, Innovation Calling. So my business partner, Erin Greger, actually met him when he was at GameStop. And she said, there's this guy that's really cool and he's doing cool things. We should have him on our podcast. I said, sure, let's why not? Then he came to our studio and I could tell he was kind of like, oh, geez, Erin's cool, but this Syya chick, let me tell you, she's crazy. But we just became friends from there. And I got to say, again, it's a cultivation of a lot of great people and community and networking with great, amazing people. So let's talk about this thing called DLC Drop. He himself has a podcast on the Esports Future Podcast Network, and he just released an episode that's out today with Ralph D'Amato of D'Amato Productions. And I didn't know this, but he was a co or associate producer of Tony Hawk's latest documentary that just came out, and it's called I Am Superman, or I'm a Superman. And have you heard of that?
I have.
I think I'm a little envious and jealous because I have not. And I guess I'm a bit of a flake there on that because I felt like a little bit of a slacker. So sorry about that, guys. I'm not cool. Again, that's skateboarding cool people world. But because of the relationship he has, and as you say, as a servant leader and the connections he made, Ralph was able to get signed swag from the guys that were highlighted on that documentary. And he was able to parlay that into his podcast. So do you mind if I share a little bit of a little ad?
These teasers. Yes.
Okay. So this is like, I'm just silly like that.
Teaser started yesterday, actually.
It did. So for those, I guess, just watch it first. We'll talk about it afterwards. So can I just tell you, I need better bandwidth. But that being said, for those, if you want to really see it in more real time where the music isn't so slowed down there, just check out any of our posts, either through Esports FPN or John Davidson on all social media. But the big thing, you guys, is to hashtag the THPS DLC drop and share your Tony Hawk story. That is the most critical part because that's how you can win all that swag. Tony Hawk poster. I actually, when he told me about it, Megan, I'm like, hey, John, could you just pretend you didn't get the poster and just give away the other stuff?
When I saw the ad, I screenshotted it to send it to John. And I was like, this guy looks like you. And then as I was doing it, I'm like, wait, this is John. He's so hidden behind the...
what I was just going to say is, there was a handsome guy in your ad. Good job wherever you found that model. Can you imagine his ego?
You got to know John to love him, though. And
you do.
Yep, you do.
You do absolutely do. Okay, so Megan, I can't believe how quickly time is running out for us here. So in this last minute or so, could you please tell and share with the world, for those that are interested in ESTA, Esports Trade Association, and or most importantly, want to get a hold of you and perhaps be a guest on the Esports Connected, how do they get a hold of you?
Go to esta.gg. Thank you so much, Syya. It's been so great to be on your show. And again, we're Esports Trade Association, or ESTA. Let's see, esportsta.org.
There you go. So ESTA.org, guys. Coolest coolest group of folks ever in the world and in a really hot burgeoning industry. If you're a non-endemic brand, aka a brand that hasn't traditionally looked at marketing within or engaging the esports community, there are definitely ways you can do it and not be jerk, fake about it, and be genuine. The ESTA folks can help you get in there and do it correctly. I know it sounds snooty to say it, but you know, as all things, if you want to be part of a community, you got to be part of the community. So on that note, I do want to talk about next week's guest is JD Gershbein. Selfishly, coming June 7th, there is going to be a launching of the Two Deer in the Headlights podcast. It is a Monday live stream every Monday, 10 a.m. CST. JD Gershbein and me are going to be talking about all those moments in time that we've had those deer in the headlights where you're like, oh, son of a sea cook, I don't know what I'm doing. My brain is frozen. My mouth is frozen. I'm frozen. We're going to talk about how we've all had those stories, share those stories, how to overcome them. And let's be brutally honest, what we can do to better improve ourselves, both personally as well as professionally. So JD Gershbein next Wednesday, June 2nd. And we will be going live on the Two Deer in Headlights, June 7th on that following Monday. So yes, it's a straight up promotion, unabashed. Ain't gonna lie, because I'm the co-host and I'm gonna decide who gets to be on my show. Golly gosh darn it. Megan, you're like, oh my God, girl, stop.
And this is why, you know, if it wasn't for you, I would have never done this, because everybody has a story to tell. Everyone should have a podcast. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Syya. It's been a pleasure to be here today.
Love you, Megan, and thank you so much, and look forward to so many more great conversations. So that's a wrap up of the Mike is Listening show. Peace out, everyone. Next week.